Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I am so excited for another Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan update. It is already the 8th update of this Project Pan for this year, and this is just as much fun as always, to be honest with you. I love this project so much. I'm consistently hitting pan on my eyeshadows in my collection, and that feels very good to me. I'm rotating through my palettes. I'm just challenging myself with different color combinations. I'm challenging myself to use eyeshadows that I may not have otherwise felt compelled to reach for. And it really is just a very exciting and very fulfilling project for me as well. It has been so much fun. My ultimate goal with this project is to just really hit pan on as many eyeshadows as I possibly can. I always randomize my eyeshadows, and yeah, I really want to try to hit pan on them, but if that isn't something that's going to happen for me, or I don't feel compelled by the shadow, I still have to use it at least 15 times to get to know it and see if it is something that I want to pursue further. But this is just an absolute blast for me. I am so excited to share with you what today's update is looking like, what all 4 of my focus eyeshadows are looking like after another month of progress. So why don't we just hop right on into it? I actually have 2 of my focus eyeshadows in my Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, the first of which is the shade called Penny, which has been in the project now for 3 total months. Previously, I had used it 9 times, and then I've only reached for an additional 4 times this past month, which is really surprising because it's this beautiful coppery kind of shadow. So I'm only at 13 uses on the shade Penny. I do have another focus shadow in this palette, so I'm just going to cover that part up. But here is what Penny is looking like right now. You can see there's definitely a dip, there's usage, but in 13 uses, I would not expect to hit pan on any of these Natasha Denona shadows because they're very deep, they're very rich and pigmented, and this shade is very much true to that description. Very pigmented and very rich. So as you can see, there is a swatch of Penny right there. It is super metallic. It is ultra beautiful, very flattering on me as well. Like, this is the kind of shade that I really do feel very drawn to. I really do enjoy, and especially as we're going into the fall months, this is something that I'm going to reach for much more often. But I think it's gonna take me an awful long time to actually be able to hit pan on it because yes, there's a dip, there's progress happening, but yeah, I'm nowhere near actually hitting pan, especially when I look at it in contrast to the shadows that actually do have pans in them. Penny is definitely falling behind, definitely falling behind. And then we may as well talk about the other shadow that comes from this palette as well. I rolled it in just in my last update, and the shade is called Ripe. I have used it only 7 times since rolling it into the project, but I do feel like that's a pretty good number for me. This is Ripe right here, which is a beautiful matte orange shade. It is incredible, like so rich and pigmented and just so vibrant and gorgeous. As you can see right there, they make a perfect pairing, and I did wear them together many times. As I talk through both of these shades, you'll see many looks on the screen that are kind of comparable because I've been reaching for these in tandem together. But as you can see, there is obviously a tiny bit of usage that has happened on the shade Ripe. But yeah, we are definitely nowhere near pan. I don't think this is a shade that I'm going to keep in the project until I hit pan on it because that's gonna take me months and months of use. Yeah, it's gonna take me absolutely forever. In 7 uses, I have hardly really created any sort of visual difference in the pan. Like, there is no dip whatsoever. It just has a tiny bit of brush like marks on it, that's it. So it's gonna be in here for a long time if I really try to hit pan on it. So I think I'm just going to work towards achieving that 15 use goal with this one in particular. My third focus shadow is one that I've been working on for the last 2 months, and it comes from my Nabla Soul Blooming palette, an absolute treasure and just a special palette in my collection. The shade that I've been focusing on is called Caravaggio, and previous to today's update, I had actually used it 15 times. I've now reached for an additional 7 times, bringing me up to 22 total uses. And your girl hit pan on that 7th use. It is a tiny pan, but I made it happen. So I am so happy about that progress. I'm so happy to see what this is looking like today. And I did actually hit a bonus pan in this palette while reaching for this past month. I hit pan in the shade Middle Karma, which I believe in my last update I said I was aiming to do. And yeah, I made it happen. I've been reaching for those two shades in tandem quite a lot, really leaning into those neutral looks. And I just love how well loved this palette is now looking. Let me give you a swatch actually of what Caravaggio looks like before we move on to our final shade. And there is a swatch of the shade Caravaggio right there, a deep, dark, matte chocolate brown shade that is just so beautiful. I loved using this to create really smoky looks, especially as more of like a liner kind of situation or to smudge out the lash line. So beautiful. And yeah, it feels so good to look at this palette and see so many pans. I actually only have 3 out of the 12 shades remaining to hit pan on. And they are, well, 2 of them are more challenging. I'd say the shade Garçon is something that I could probably hit pan on relatively easily. But Anemone and Honey Drip are a little bit more challenging, but that is something that I would love, love, love to do. I would love to hit the final 3 pans in here. That would be so, so cool and really, really exciting to me. But let's move on to the 4th and final focus shadow. My final focus shadow comes from the Juvia's Place The Magic Mini palette. I actually just rolled the focus shadow called Vi into this project pan last update. I've actually reached for it 10 times, which is quite a lot of uses for me. Most of my shadows usually sit just shy of that 10 uses. Usually they're not up in the double digits, but I did reach for this 10 times because I was feeling ultra motivated to hit pan on it. And I was able to do so on the 10th use, which is today. I'm wearing it as like a smoky liner kind of situation. I just felt like reaching for it today to kind of create a more defined look, and it happened. I'm so, so happy about that. And I also am very, very thrilled to say that yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, the last time that I reached for this palette previous to today, I actually hit a bonus pan in the shade Kessie, which is one that I have been kind of unofficially wanting to hit pan on. I mean, I have been actively trying to hit pan on it, but unofficially because it's not part of this project. So 2 new pans in this palette, which feels really, really good. It has been a few months since I last had any kind of bonus pans in this project. Like, I don't know what it is, but I've just been hitting pan on just my focus shade. So it feels good to have a bonus pan, not only in this palette right here, but also in my Nabla Soul Blooming. And I want to give you a little swatch of Vi as well. Here is a swatch. It is a gorgeous deep gunmetal shade, ultra metallic. It has been so fun to play with. It's kind of like punky. It's something that feels really edgy and perfect as we're going into fall as well. I've been wearing it so, so much, loving it with my new hair. It's been an absolute treat to reach for this. It's something that I personally wouldn't have probably reached for on my own. It's not the kind of shadow that I generally would gravitate towards without this project pan, but I have been really leaning into it and creating some really fun looks integrating this shadow in order to hit pan on it, and it felt really good to me. So I'm actually rolling 2 out of my 4 focus shadows out of this project. So let's hop on into the new shadow selections. I am so, so excited to do so. On the screen right here, I will share with you my first selection, which is going to be from my ABH Norvina palette. I actually have depotted this palette, so I only have a selection of these now with my singles, but the shade is gonna be called C3. I have no clue which one this is. It could be the gold shade, but I really don't know. I will grab that momentarily, but let's select also the 4th shadow for this project together as well. It is gonna be from my Urban Decay Born to Run palette, the shade Big Sky. This is probably one of my favorite shades in that palette, I believe. It's like a silvery kind of blue, which I think is gonna be miraculous with this. So I will be right back to share with you what the new color palette is looking like, what those 2 new shades are looking like. I am super, super excited for these new additions. So here we have those depotted ABH Norvina shades, and I think that C3 is this gold one for some reason, but I could be wrong. I do have, oh, it is wrong. I do have them labeled on the back, so I just need to kind of peruse this for a moment here. Oh, I'm getting more and more nervous the the longer I go through these. Okay, okay. So this is C3 actually. So C3 is this reddish kind of tone metallic. Actually looks really, really beautiful. Probably not something I would reach for on my own, but it is going to be impeccable with the color palette that I already have going on, I think. I think I've reached for this maybe a couple of times, but this is not something that has any sort of notable progress on it whatsoever. But oh my gosh, wow, it's so pretty with that orange. Ooh, that is gonna be fun. I'm gonna be just like the picture of fall, like a living image of fall, I swear, because yeah, this color palette is just screaming fall for sure. So there is what C3 looks like to kick off this project. As you can see, it really, really doesn't have any sort of discernible progress on it. I'm going to have to work really hard in order to hit pan on it. And then finally, we have also rolled in a shade from the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen this palette in this project pan, so it's about time that it makes a comeback. This palette used to always be in this project because there's just so many shades in here. But the shade that I rolled in is called Big Sky, which is, as I said, one of my favorites in this palette. And I think it's gonna just go so well with all these shades, and it really, really is going to. Big Sky is this beautiful, cool toned, silvery kind of blue shade, kind of gray. It's really, really gorgeous. I already have actually quite a big dip in it because I do actually really enjoy this. And I'm not oftentimes drawn to blues, but this has this like grungy quality that is just so delicious to me. And as you can see, I have used it actually quite a lot because it's just very compelling. It's very interesting and different, and it's most definitely something I'll be able to hit pan on. I still have quite a ways to go. The pans in this palette are very deep, but it is something that I'm really excited to work towards hitting pan on. And I'm honestly just excited to play around in this palette as a whole as well. So yeah, I think I got real lucky with the color palette this time around. Check out these amazing cohesive shades. I'm excited to continue to reach for my Natasha Denona Metropolis palette and to just play around with a single that really has not gotten much use from me, and then my Urban Decay Born to Run. It'll be fun to play around with that again. I haven't reached for it in a hot minute. So this is going to be a fun upcoming month. I'm so excited to see what the future holds. Will I be able to hit pan on any of these in a month? I don't think so. Big Sky is probably the one and only item that I think could be in the running for hitting pan on, but I'm not sure about that. I'm also, just as kind of a heads up, or just like, I just want to kind of chat through this, I'm also thinking that I may end up wrapping up this project pan in November. So at update 10, we'll just call it a finale instead of pursuing this project into December, because I kind of feel like I want to take that month off to just play around with my shadows, play around with them in any way that I feel like. Maybe I won't feel compelled to use eyeshadows at all. I doubt that, but I just want to take a little bit of a break off of this project. As much as I find it to be so fun and so inspiring and so exciting, it is also important to just take a little bit of time off from it. And I may decide to do some other eyeshadow focused project in the new year. We'll see how we're feeling, but I'm kind of thinking about maybe a different approach to eyeshadow panning. I really like the idea of doing Project Level Up, but I don't feel like I could pan those eyeshadows and Project Level Up in tandem. So what do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Anyways, that, my friends, is absolutely everything. I am so excited about this color palette. Please let me know, how would you wear this? How would you play with these shades together or independently? But thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.